This one Bible verse changed how I see forgiveness completely. It's changed me as a person, as a Christian, and it's genuinely altered my life. So this is from the Gospel of Matthew, and it goes like this. For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. What is that telling us right now, and what has that actually taught me? Now what that's taught me is that forgiveness is not an act, it's obedience. I like to think of many things as obedience. Discipline being obedience. Me showing up to the gym, me doing what is required of me, that is all discipline, and discipline is obedience. We often think that forgiveness is something that people have to earn, that more often than not, it's not even part of our vocabulary. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the stories on my journey with forgiveness because it's been life-changing, and the most important part is it's been very recent. Like, we're talking a couple of months old, really only a month or two after I was actually baptised. So it's all very new to me, which is why I can give you a real insight into how I've learned to forgive people. But this verse in and of itself, it shows that, when we was younger, right? Let's just say if you had a sibling or a friend that did something bad to you, could be in school or home, and you've gotten to tell on them, right? And then you're telling on them in order to hope that they get told off. So right from young, right from when we're children, we've always got this idea of when someone does us wrong, we want to do them wrong as well. But it makes no sense. What this verse is teaching us here is that we need to forgive people, and if we don't forgive people, then our own sins can't be forgiven. There may have been people that have done very bad things to you. You may have gone through genuinely traumatic stuff, but you yourself have sinned. You yourself have gone through things that were way out of alignment with God. I've done plenty of things. There was a time when I was a very broken individual, right? I was very lost, carried a lot of anger, a lot of resentment. And in fact, if you would have asked me my motivational goals, 5 years ago, it would have been to get a supercar, make loads of money, just to spite the people that had done me wrong. I really wanted to get back at them, and I wanted them to suffer in a way that I had suffered. These were never violent or malicious thoughts, but it was just the fact that they've caused me so much pain, so much trauma. How is it fair that they get to just live their lives as if nothing has ever actually happened? And yet I'm carrying all this pain, I'm carrying all this hurt, and I wanted to get back at them. But whilst that was all going on, I'd done bad things, I'd incited certain situations, I'd done sinful things. So until I learned to actually forgive those people, my own sins themselves couldn't be forgotten. So when I learned to read this verse, it really began to flip the script to me. And it's been super important, and even now when people are testing me, because I'm not off the hook yet, there's still people that test me, there's still a lot of unwanted situations, and there's still a lot of events that will happen on a day-to-day basis, stuff that are perhaps coming back up from my childhood that I've got to look in the eyes and face, and if I can't learn to let go and just get rid of anything that is negative or out of alignment with God, my own sins that I've done in the past will never be forgiven. So when it came to me as an individual, and I've only really been reading the Bible for the past year or so, started off passively, then it's got more intense, and now here we are literally studying the Bible every single day. So I've got a Sunday service, and I do a Bible study as well on a Wednesday, which is a huge revival for me, is what I've come to call it. It's just a surge in my energy and my emotion, just allows me to really get back on track. Forgiveness has been interesting because as a Christian I've gone through a transformational phase. 5-10 years ago, just pretty much when all this stuff started happening, forgiveness wasn't really even in my vocabulary. And for the people that did forgive, I saw it as a sign of weakness, I saw it as a sign of lack of strength. I just saw that they were taking an easy route out. And I could never see why you would want to forgive someone. It just made no sense to me. But then as I've come to return to faith, return to Christ, and learn to walk with Christ, as he always has been with me, it just took me some time to realise that he was the one that was always there for me. But as I've learned to actually forgive, what I've found is that I've gained more peace, more clarity. I've allowed myself to, open new doors for myself because I'm no longer holding on to hatred, but also I'm a lot more productive. I can get more done, and I actually can make sure that the thoughts that are going on in my mind are actually wanted, right? Because now when I'm thinking of my goals and I'm thinking of my ideal version of myself, it's not someone that wants to get back at people. It's not someone that wants to live this high life so that these other people will come crawling back. It's not about any of that anymore. I just want to live a life that's authentic, one where I can step up and be a masculine Christian man, look after the people around me, make sure I'm doing good in the world, uplifting others, leading in the light, showing people what the life of a Christian can be like and what the blessing of the life you can have when you walk with God. That is what forgiveness has allowed me to learn. You can't sit in two chairs at once. You can't sit and serve two masters. That is again scripture in the Bible. It literally said this word for word. You can't hold on to the hatred and all of this unwanted anger that you are trying to eventually get back at people. but yet also simultaneously try to live this nice life, achieve your goals, become essentially a rooted Christian. The two things do not go hand in hand. God is constantly telling you, He is calling you to let go of that. And the sooner that you can let go of that, and as much as it's going to be hard, the better you'll find that you can walk in light, step into new opportunities, and get back in alignment with God. Now, the way that I've worded that may come across like it's going to be a walk in the park, something that you can just box off in a simple morning prayer, an afternoon of work. Do not get it twisted. I do not mean that whatsoever. Forgiveness is going to be hard, it's going to be painful, and it's going to require a version of you that you will not be able to do this alone. You have to do this with God. So you need to start doing it in your prayers, you need to start doing it every single day, and what you'll find is it's actually going to be transformational in the sense that it's going to be progressive. So you'll do a little bit every single day. Me, for example, my mind used to be cluttered with all of these thoughts. I used to be driven by hatred. I used to be driven by the fact that I wanted these people to see how successful I became. I wanted these people to come back to me just so I could turn them away. That is literally what fulfilled my mind most hours of the day. And it got me some progress, but I knew that deep down something was always missing. It wasn't authentic and it wasn't what I wanted. So I was trying to build a life, yet escape from that very life I was trying to build. So the idea with forgiveness is that it's going to be progressive. First thing I found was that these thoughts became less and less intensive throughout the day. They became less and less frequent. And then what I found myself first was this sense of open-mindedness. Because I wasn't thinking of proving these people wrong or trying to prove a point and gain validation, now I had empty space. So now for the businesses that I was trying to build, the man that I was trying to become, essentially just heal myself and sit with God, I was now actually able to do that because I'd let go of the thing that was holding me down. It just allowed me to get so much more done. So learning to forgive is progressive. So first I started thinking of these things less. Then what happened is I started to think of better situations. I started to think of these situations where I would look these people in the eye and say, it's forgiven, it's done with. So because obviously I'm in different cities, just my chapter of life has evolved, I'm probably never really going to cross paths with you people again. But your mind doesn't know the difference between real and physical. So the fact that I was able to have these conversations with these people visually, look them in the eyes and say, I forgive you, it's done with, was a huge freeing and liberating feeling. It's given me peace, it's given me clarity, and it's just allowed me to take back control of myself. You'll be surprised how much of yourself you give to people, even when you don't like them, you don't love them, you don't care for them, and yet you're holding on to anger because whatever you give control to, whatever you give your emotional access to, you're giving control to, they will continue to control your reality, even if they're not even in the same room as you, even if they're not in the same area of life as you. So many people are holding on to stuff from their past that they just refuse to let go of because it's familiar. Even though it's unwanted, it's somewhat safe because they know that when they wake up in a couple of hours' time, it's going to be exactly as it is. Christians and humans do not like change, but when you can learn to forgive, you're going to go through that change, cut through it with a knife, and whilst it's going to be painful, it's going to be one of the best things that you can do, I promise you. So let me know your thoughts on this video, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one.